Now we're part 2.
Now
Say
we're
that?
at part 2. And look at that, 9:59.
On the line.
Oh my God, we're good. We have good
sticking
timing.
it. Boom.
Okay, you want to talk about Bridget?
Yes. First of all,
did you know that Ro and Bridget Moynahan are cousins?
Yeah, we're third cousins apparently. I think her father, or my father's father and her grandmother were siblings or something.
Really?
I don't know, but my brother Eddie said to me he was doing the lineage that my cousin...
When did you discover this?
2 days before she was on The View.
No way.
Yeah, and they said, Bridget Moynahan's coming on The View and she's your cousin. I was like, what?
And so you said, I knew that. Look at us.
Exactly. You know, I always had this thing that I thought, well, I'm from the Irish chubby washerwoman. That's my genetic. Then I see this Moynahan cousin, and I'm like, geez, it's all been a lie.
Can I tell you, and Bridget, if you're watching this, then just turn it off because I don't need for you to hear anything else. She's the most freakily stunning person I've ever seen.
I agree. She's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
And we're really, really, really good friends.
How did you meet her?
We did a movie together called In the Weeds.
Yeah.
And we became fast friends. And, and we became very physical very fast. And all the men on the crew were like, they hated me.
Yeah.
Because she was all over
me. Yeah. She's a nice girl.
She's a nice girl. Like sometimes, and I'm telling you, Bridget, if you're watching this, I'm lying.
Bridget, he's lying.
Sometimes I'm kind of like...
Yeah. Shockingly stunning, yeah.
Because
how's the baby? Gorgeous?
He's really beautiful. He's a big boy.
Is he?
So, I was the birth partner.
That's what I heard. Was it wild?
It was the most extraordinary experience of my whole life.
Did she do it at home or in the hospital?
Hospital. And she was amazing. And we went through classes and stuff together and mostly laughed. We was some yoga class where we were doing all we did was laugh and ruin the entire class. I love her so much. She is such a good friend. She's such a big help to me. And I have been a big help to her. And it's been hard, a little bit. Of
course. Anybody kind of public stuff like that. I was reading an interesting interview with Mary Louise Parker. She said so many people have a vested interest in my romantic life because, the situation of being pregnant and whatever happened. That she said, I can't even really grieve it because people are always bringing it up to me.
Right.
Always going, when you were pregnant, that was, the same with her. Everyone's going to think, she was pregnant and he left. And now, listen, life happens.
And she's happy.
Yeah.
This baby's happy. She's fantastic.
Good.
And it's interesting because we did a thing, a Friend Friday, and there was a huge, crazy press on it and stuff because in Boston, it was as if we had gone to war. It literally interrupted The View.
Really?
Breaking news, Bridget Moynahan speaks. Serious, can you believe that?
Was it like the first time she spoke?
We didn't know.
After
we did it like casual sitting in my living room.
Yeah.
And it was the first time she had spoken.
Well, I'm glad that she got to do it with you and not somebody who was trying to
protective,
make their own career.
Because we didn't really talk about those circumstances. We laughed about us.
Yeah.
We talked. I did mention wiping amniotic fluid from between her legs, but that was
which is a sign of love.
It sure is. No, she's great, and she adores you. She told me to tell you hello.
We have to hang out. We have to compare family history notes. I'd like to.
Well, you do have some of the same qualities.
Really?
You're bullheaded.
Me? Sam!
And she... And Bridget will call me and just, and tell me it's a problem. And then as soon as I have a disagreement with her, she'll say, no, this is the way it is. I'm like, you guys have a lot in common.
Yeah, exactly. Honey, my way or the highway.
Well,
you know that.
Your way's often right.
Often, not always.
Not always.
Come on.
You have good instincts.
Hello, Tech.
Ro and I used to get into arguments when we were doing Grease.
What was our big argument?
We had an argument in front of the entire company about the Menendez Brothers.
Oh, I remember. And because what your feeling was that they were not abused.
In jail.
That's right.
I didn't say they weren't abused. I'm like, you're not 8. Leave. And you were like, these poor boys. And I'm like, they're 21 years old. They have toupees. They could have left the house. They didn't have to kill the parents.
Okay.
There were other options.
All right. It was many years ago.
What do you think now?
About them? One of them, I believe, the younger one, Lyle, has written me letters.
No.
Yes.
He knew that you were sympathetic.
I guess. He heard it through the Broadway grapevine in prison. I don't know. But listen, I just think that in any of those cases that I'm familiar with, and I'm not really familiar with the Menendez details, but there are other cases like the King brothers in Florida.
Yes.
And they were little boys, and they were horrifically abused.
Fine.
Yes, but if what they're saying is true and a jury has decided that they were lying, and it is not true. But let's just say what they say were true, and they were horrifically, sadistically abused. You can understand how someone in that situation would totally make an inappropriate choice.
Absolutely.
But I agree, not to go spending all the money 2 months after Daddy's dead.
Right, it was planned.
Yeah, okay.
They had their hair done.
I take it back. 20 years later.
You're
right, Sam. You're right, Sam. You're right, Sam. You're right, Sam. You're right, Sam.
Oh my God!
You're right about murders.
Right. But that's the only thing I'm sure.
See, but I could even find a way to go, oh, but they must have, they look little to me.
They did.
How old was the youngest?
They were
youngest
like 20.
Isn't even a word.
The youngest.
Wasn't he like 18?
Sounds like a sexual lesbian thing.
It is. Not every lesbian knows about it. Youngest.
You know what else happened?
No, do we have Google on here? We can Google how old
I don't think
she
I
was.
can get the Wi-Fi from here.
Okay.
We're in a basement.
We are.
You know what else happened during the Grease thing?
What?
Do you remember the night we were doing the show and the
OJ Simpson
thing? Never forget that, with the white Bronco going and going.
Because usually the guy who does the door security, or they have a little TV, so he was sitting in there.
I do actually.
That cute guy. Well, remember that old cute guy? He's not there anymore, I don't think.
I
don't know if he's still with us, but he was there watching the TV, and every time I'd run to get changed, he'd go, "Oh God, Simpson's in the car." I'm like, "What?" He's in the car. They're chasing him. I'm like, that guy is so guilty.
So guilty.
And then here we are, and he's out playing golf.
Where were you when he was getting
let go?
Let go.
I was at my sister's, Maureen's, and it was a tough thing for anyone. That was a very tough thing. Everyone projected something onto that case, whether it be race or sexual abuse or the feeling of being powerless, or if you could put yourself into the mindset of Nicole, that she had 2 little babies,
right.
And who could imagine that he would be capable of that? Truthfully, it's something out of a movie.
And he's crazy. I mean, when I had a real great opportunity that you like everybody else would appreciate. What was the lawyer's name?
Johnnie Cochran. He died.
When I was doing the Life.
Yes.
He came to the show.
Mm.
He came backstage. He wanted to meet everybody, and I told my dresser, I'm like, I don't want to meet him.
Yeah.
I don't want to meet him.
Yeah.
The word came up, he would like to meet you. I'm like, I don't want to meet him. I've never said no to meet somebody. I kind of come down the stairs. I waited forever. He was there. And he came up and he shook my hand. He says, very nice job. And I said, I can't believe I said, what a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Cochran. How rare is it that a person gets to meet that an actor gets to meet the person whom they base their character on? Because I played like this evil, Iago, charlatan manipulator. Mm. And he just kind of looked at me, and I was shaking. I was so nervous.
Well, for you, what was that? Where did that come from?
I thought he was completely condescending and playing to the very people that he said he was protecting. He totally played the black card. I thought it was a political, manipulative nightmare. It was the worst part of people. To me.
And what do you think about now with the current race with Obama and Hillary? You think that that's being played every time? I do, boy.
The black card?
I think everything. That she's a woman and that he's a black man. That if
I'm
you say,
tired of hearing about it.
Right, but if you say either one of those facts, you are somehow racist or sexist.
Well, Geraldine Ferraro.
The most absurd thing in the world.
Exactly.
Look at her
legacy.
Correct. Her legacy is civil rights. That's her legacy. She was the first woman vice president nominee on a ticket.
And she told the truth.
And come on, people. What she's
I said
saying.
that at a dinner party the other night, and people yelled at me.
They yell at me on my blog too, but I said the same thing. When I think that Hillary Clinton should have said, I will not accept her resignation.
I agree. I think that makes Hillary look weak.